Let's welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with the girl, Erica Wilson, that it had to happen for Thursday night spotlight. And tonight, guys, we're talking about poetry, passion, and purpose. And we have the Maurice Moeflowz Brown with us on tonight. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and present to others, Mr. Maurice Brown. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for accepting the invitation, and it's such a pleasure to sit with you here on tonight. And thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to come here with us at It Had to Happen and just share your hits and your story. So can you tell the audience a little bit about who is Maurice Brown?
Sure, yeah. So born and raised in Philadelphia. I grew up playing sports, did a lot of sports. As soon as I graduated high school, I joined the Army. I did about 10 years in the Army as an engineer. That's where I started writing. I started writing on deployment. I went to Afghanistan and Iraq. And I think in Afghanistan, that's when I started to write. And then I got off active duty and I switched to the Virginia Army National Guard. I moved to Virginia. My first duty station was Fort Lee. That's what introduced me to Virginia. So I went to Virginia State University. I taught middle school math and high school math in Virginia for a while. Then I taught at Virginia State, and now I teach at VCU. I'm a professor teach at VCU, teaching the business department. And what else? Recently retired from the National Guard. Did 22 years.
Wow.
So yeah, that's it. Unless I have a daughter, have a grandson, new grandson. He's about 6-7 months now. And that's pretty much it.
Oh my God, Maurice, you have a grandson?
Yeah, I have a grandson.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm a newly, I don't call myself a grandmother. I call myself a Bella. And I actually have 2 grandsons. And
wow.
You look so young.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I guess my mom and pops just blessed me well.
All right now. How are you? Wow. And you say 6 months?
Yeah. So, yep, about 6-7 months now. Yep.
Wow. And mine is 3 months and almost 2. Next month, he'll be 2.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's something that you can't explain, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I heard that, okay, you went to the service right out of high school.
Yeah.
Tell me what that was like.
I think at that time in my life, I was, I didn't have a lot of direction, right? I was always decent in school. I was pretty decent at sports. And I just did, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I remember I was in 11th grade. The recruiter came to the house. He was like special forces or something, that seemed pretty cool to me. So I was like, maybe I'll do that. But then my senior year, when I went into my senior year, I started to develop physically. So I started to get faster. I started to get stronger and stuff like that, which means I got better as far as athletics was concerned. Mm-hmm. And I started to, gain some interest there. I had some teachers when they found out that I had was showing interest in the Army. They really tried hard to push me in the other direction. But I just didn't have, and this isn't a shot against anybody in my family or anything like that, but I didn't have anybody really guiding me. I was just trying to figure it out. And I knew my mom couldn't afford school. So I knew I had to get a scholarship. I said, if I don't get a scholarship, I'm going to the military. And I don't think I had a lot of, I know, looking back on it, I didn't have a lot of belief in my abilities. And so in my mind, the best thing to do is just go to the Army. So that's what I did. I don't regret it. All the things I learned being in the military, not just what I learned on as far as skills and stuff like that, but what I learned about myself as a person, it's been immeasurable. I know that a lot of who I am today is a direct result of me going to the military, going to the army.
Wow. First of all, I want to thank you for serving our country,
Absolutely.
putting yourself on the line. So thank you. Truly,
Thank
truly,
you. I appreciate that. No problem.
you're welcome. So, as you were saying that, it's not that we're taking shots against anyone because that's not what we do. Or
Hmm.
you tell our truth, and not to make anyone look bad or things like that.
Hmm.
It's just the truth is the truth, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
going back to your high school years, um, back then, I'm sure you're probably about my age, so that's why I'm saying back then,
Hmm.
um, you know, it wasn't, I can't say, did you play any sports in high school?
Yeah, I ran track and I ran track and I played football. I played football my senior year. Yeah, I played football my senior year, and but I ran track all 4 years.
And one thing about track, and that's the reason why I asked that question, because one thing about sports, it give you a form of discipline.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it kind of prepares you for your next,
Hmm.
because there are things that you have to be there on time. It's just so many different things that falls into place where
Hmm.
it plays a role to the next part of your life,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So here it is now, you're graduating from high school. You really didn't know what exactly to do. And here it is, you land in the military.
Hmm.
And why did you choose the branch that you chose?
Um. So okay. Well, really, it's probably because they're the first ones that came to me, right? And I really like the recruiter. He was a really cool dude, and so I'm not gonna say I connected with him or anything like that, but uh, his presence resonated with me, right? And so, but when I told people what I wanted to do, they were very much like, you know, they were very adamant about what job I took,
Oh,
right? Like they were like, no, don't go special forces, don't go infantry. If you're gonna go, do something that you could use when you get out, and stuff like that. And I really wanted to go special forces, go infantry and go special forces. But I did listen to those folks, and I got a high enough score to where I was able to choose. I had a good selection of jobs to choose from, and so that's why I chose engineers. As far as the other branches, I wasn't. I think maybe the Navy might approach me, but I wasn't interested in the Navy, and I wasn't. I definitely knew I wasn't interested in Marines. Again, no shot against them.
right.
I didn't. I had family members that had one that was a Marine and one's a Navy, and I didn't want to do that. The Air Force has never crossed my mind, so I think it was just the time and who I met, where I was at that time in my life.
And can you say that, the people was in the right place at the right time? Because we like to talk
Yeah.
about the wrong place at the
Hmm.
wrong time.
Yeah.
But during this process, can you say that the people was in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at that time, or even maybe a few years after, you know, those things transpired in my life, maybe I didn't, right? But now, as I've matured and have a different outlook on life and how things work and how things connect,
Mhm.
absolutely, everything was happening exactly what it's supposed to. Didn't feel like it at the time, but
Right.
it certainly was.
And that's one of the things I was studying this morning about, sometimes we want things when we want it, right? And God
Hmm.
says, no, it's going to be on my time,
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
even though that you're going through the it, and what I mean by the trials and the tribulations, and in your case, what you were going through, you say you didn't see the good yet, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it came afterwards.
Right.
And a lot of times when we don't see the good up front, we like to pull back from things like, oh man, this is not going to work. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
something simple as Maurice getting a flat tire, right? You're on your way
Hmm.
to work and you get a flat tire. One will probably be so pissed and so upset, but not
Hmm.
trying to look at it and like, okay, maybe God is blocking me from an accident or
Hmm.
something. trying to just take the good out of it, but focusing on the bad. So here
Correct.
you know that during this process, something good definitely came out of it. So
Absolutely.
here it is. Now you're in the service. You go over to Afghanistan. Whew,
Mhm. Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah.
How long before or after you entered the service did you go over there?
So I went in 2000, about 6 years, about 5 years.
Hmm.
I was in about 5 years, and I went. 9/11 happened, and we were out of there.
Oh, wow. And the
Yeah.
reason why I'm asking, because it's leading up to your writing, your
Okay.
poem, which
Yeah.
you do so well, because
Mhm.
again, here it is, you leave high school, you're into the service now, you're doing your thing, and here
Mhm.
it is, you get sent over to Afghanistan, and guess what now?
Yeah.
Your passion, purpose was built
Yes.
through that,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
can you tell the people about what is your purpose, rather, not was, but what is your purpose?
So I would say that it's definitely changed over time. I think at that time, um, poetry at that time was solely, exclusively an outlet. Right.
Mhm.
I wasn't interested in doing anything with it other than writing it. I would read it to my battle buddies and stuff like that.
Wow.
But outside of that, that was pretty much it. And I think it was like that for a while. I think maybe at one point there was a point there where I felt like, okay, maybe I should share this. Maybe I should try to um, make this a bigger thing. But I I think I was doing that for the wrong reasons. I was doing that because people were just saying that they liked what I was doing. And
Mhm.
so it was more of, I felt like I had to because people were saying they like it. Right. So my purpose in the beginning was much different. Now, fast forward, um, I'm in the National Guard, and I was in the National Guard, and I was in Pennsylvania for some training or something, and I started to I started getting back into writing again. And what I would do was I would write quotes to my daughter, right? And
Oh,
I would do that every day. But when it started, I didn't really start as me writing my own. I would go on the internet, find something, and then send it to her. Like, hey, this is a good quote. And then after a while, I was like, man, I could just write my own. So I started writing my own to her. And then that's when the purpose started to change, because now I was writing to inspire. I was writing to motivate um, other people. It started with my daughter, and then I started sending it to other people as well to motivate other people. And then, and what I found too is it was a lot easier to write. It became a lot easier for me to write because I would just write my experiences. I would just share my experiences and look at that experience and see what I gained from that, and that's what I write about. So it became easy to write because at this time, many years had passed. So I had a lot of experiences. I had a lot to write about. I had a lot of things to share, and up until this point, that's what it's been. It's been just me just sharing my experiences. Uh, if people if it touches people in a certain way, if people are drawn to it, then that's good, and if not, that's okay too. It doesn't change the this need I have to write. I mean, I probably write almost every day. I want to say I write every day, but I know there's probably some days where I might not write anything, but I write almost every day. And so now that purpose is beginning to change again, right? Now it's starting to become where not only do I want to inspire, motivate people, and I don't look at myself as I'm a teacher by trade, right? But I don't look at myself as trying to teach anybody anything. I look at myself as I'm just sharing things that I've learned with you, and if they resonate with you, that's great, you know. And that's really what it's all about. But now I want to do it on a larger scale. I want to be able to just write. That's all I want to do. I just want to be able to just write and perform poetry. I don't want to have to do anything else. And so now my purpose is twofold, where I still want to inspire people, but it's something that I want for myself too. And I think in the beginning, I wanted it for myself, but in an egotistical way, because it was fulfilling that it was that dopamine, right? It was making me feel good. People say they're liking it. Now I want it for myself because I appreciate what I do. I understand the gift that I have and what I have to give to the world. And I want to live my life in that, which means I have to make myself a business, right? So
Absolutely. But I want to take you back to, you say when you were there, you were writing like letters to your daughter. And I kind of cut out, I lost connection for a minute, so I didn't really hear everything, but I did catch that part.
okay.
And you were writing letters to your daughter. And I want to go back because we just heard about the daughter. And, I'm big on, putting our kids out there. I just speaking about our kids. My son just came in. He says, "Hey, Mom, I love you. Hey, Champ, I love you too." But tell us a little bit about your daughter, and then we're going to jump back into this poetry thing.
Yeah, my daughter. So when I was when I was on active duty, I was married, and I had a daughter when I was I guess I was 21, and yeah, man, she's just been, this year I was talking to her, and this is the best way I could explain it. You have this love, this unconditional love for your children. That's really difficult to put into words.
Yeah.
Right. But outside of that, I feel like when I do things, I'm not a very I don't want to say I'm not an emotional person, because I am, but I'm not openly emotional a lot. I'm not closed off, but I'm not openly emotional. And sometimes I recognize that in myself. But I never wanted her to feel like I didn't love her. So I always made sure that I was never closed off with her. And even if I felt like, I was being it, because she was there, I didn't want to be like that. So I say all that to say, and I explained this to her a couple months ago. I say all that to say, she has definitely been a huge part of my growth as a person.
My God.
Right. And sometimes I wonder, like, man, if I wouldn't have had a daughter, I'm not gonna say I would have. I don't know what I would have been, but I know I wouldn't have been this person for sure. So having her in my life has definitely helped me develop on an emotional level in a very, very, very big way.
You see, Maurice, we just talked about the right place at the right time. See, God knows exactly what we need when we need it, right? And you speak about your child, and I can see, it all over you when you speak about your children, because it is something that you can't explain, and coming from a mother, you think you're that way. So just imagine, we're over the top because we're very emotional, and my kids are 30 and 34, and I still call them my babies, But at the end of the day, I can relate to what you just said because of your children. Your child, you are who you are today. And I just told my kids that just the other day, because the thing is, when God, and I like to tell people, I call it a loan, because he loaned us everything that we have, right? So when he loaned us these children, and we're able now to have something that loves us unconditionally, the way that we love them as well, even in our worst times, because we're probably not the best parents. A kid will sometimes think that their parent is getting on their nerves or something, right? But they still love us. So you thank God for the kids that he loaned us, and here it is. You again, it was still in the process of birthing your purpose, because you began to write to her, and then she sent these letters home. How old was she?
So what happened was, when I was in the Army, and I was in Afghanistan. I think you missed a piece of it. When I was in Afghanistan,
Okay.
I was just writing as a out, just letting my feelings out.
Oh.
Right. It was when I went to after I came back from Afghanistan, and I was in Pennsylvania for training. I was in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
That's when I started writing to my daughter. So at this time, she was probably in ninth grade.
Okay.
At that age where I was trying to inspire her to make the right choices, right? So it was about that time. But she was in about the ninth grade, maybe 10th.
And they say that's the most impressionable years then.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. But the thing is, you had an outlet.
Yes.
You had an outlet while you were there, something to occupy your mind when you were in Afghanistan serving, right?
For sure.
Here it is. You not just, thank you, Holy Ghost, not just that you were there for an outlet for you. If you said you were speaking to your buddies, right? You were sharing your poetry with your buddies, right? You were even being an outlet for them. Some of your words that you were speaking, God was giving to you, and you were speaking to them. You don't know what it did for them. Because you guys are over there, like your life is on the line. Again, I have to say salute, because I'm telling you, I know it's not an easy task, and especially, not that you was forced into it, but see, God knew what you needed, So you went to the service, you began to do this writing, you began to free some people in your, what do they call it? In your camp? Is it camp?
Yeah, it was a camp. It was, that's what we called it.
Okay, so you begin to free some people in your camp, and here it is. Now you're in training, and you're writing your daughter. What a beautiful thing! So what I want to do here before we jump into, because the thing here is my journey, my pain, my purpose. We don't spend too much time on the pain, we have to tell people how you overcame the it. But before we jump into the it, I just want you to go ahead and lay one of your poems on us, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that. All right. I'll do this one. Let's see. Hopefully I can remember. It's been a while since I did this one. It's called The Vow. Now, what we came here to do is more than love. More than me simply telling you I do. This is me giving my all to be one with you. Now, what we came here to do is more than love. More than me simply telling you I do. This is me giving my all to be one with you. So look into my eyes and see the evolution of our souls, and you'll see I'm letting myself go to only have you to hold, to love, to cherish, to be the one to whom I give my trust, till death do us part, as if that would be the end of us. So that's just a short one. That's a vow. What kind of poem do you want to hear?
Okay, let's ask the audience what would they like to hear, because I'm telling you, have so many of my favorites to listen, on your page. You know what? Being though that I just lost my sister, and I'm missing her so dearly. Do you have one for a loss of a loved one?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I haven't. You know why I don't? Because I've lost people, but I've never experienced that pain. So it's hard for me to write about things that I haven't experienced. So I've never written one about that.
Okay, so let's see. Snaps all around. Oh, they're giving you love. My daughter from another, she says snaps all around after you just did that poem. But I'm telling you, I'm a person that I never been, but I love spoken word.
Okay, you want spoken word?
I love it. And I always wanted to go, okay, go ahead. Let it roll.
Okay, I'll do one. My mind intertwines the principles of jazz and blues and the students of hip hop, the latter of which labels me a hypocrite, a thorn in the side of my people, off keynote speaking and sound off for freedom. You see it from bebop to doo-wop to jazz and blues, rock and roll to hip hop. Pass the baton, old man, it's been fumbled with. You're letting go before I get a good grip. Don't trip. This is a race we cannot afford to lose. I'm running to the rhythm of hip hop and you still running to the blues. Cut on cut strings, cut like broken cut like premature umbilical cord. So it's only natural to you. I come out sounding so off tune, like Langston Hughes with an attitude. So I'm writing my own haiku, and it goes like this. Produced by Jim Crow, crack rock and roll on black blocks, beatbox on cell blocks. You see, that doesn't sound like the Harlem Renaissance. It sounds like the crackling burn of the. It sounds like the crackling burn. It sounds like the crackling pop of the controlled burn set by gaslighting black and brown neighborhoods to maintain the tone of this nation's ambiance. My mind intertwines the principles of jazz and blues and the students of hip hop, both taught in classrooms built on cotton top fields, fed on lunch and shared crops. And we, like our seed, has been sown in foreign soil, so the produce reaped stems from a collage of learned behavior, nurtured by the green thumb of the massa, perfectly formed and gentrificated masses outlined in red tape, shining out. Outlined in red tape under an artificial sun that shines bright through trees so we can see nooses at high noon that got us watered and fertilized with self-hate by one. And we believe the victory's won, so we yelling freedom, and most of us just free and dumb. You see, we still picking cotton for the massa, only now it's turned green. It's from horse whips to clips, and we instigate this ignorance like we world stars on high definition screens, but we still can't define us or understand the meaning of we. You see, we could see in 3D, but we still can't seem to read the fine print written in blood by the overworked fingertips of the black soul's manuscript, publishing red lines on backsides. Yes, the edit has whipped up something nice, and so now it's all about the cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. You see, we still ain't realized that Willie has lynched our minds, rendered our third eye blind, so we can't see that we're still hung up on hate and believed in the lie of such a well-organized crime. You see, a part of me wishes that Huey was still alive, and a part of me wishes that Ghost was still alive. You see, that's power to people in conflict. So tell me, how do we rise when we want to walk the streets and run the revolution at the same time, spinning in circles? Drop a dope beats and they'll kill it over old school 45. Drop a dope beat and they'll remix it. Nick killing over old school 45s, over scratched off 45s. You see how the rhythm not matching the rhyme. And so I'm knocking these rocks together looking for a flow. Spit that fire tonight. Hip hopping like old Negro spirituals. I tell the story of my soul, unaware of the cultural divide that makes it a fairy tale. You see, that is where my hero lies, already behind the bars of the king's castle, or 6 feet deep underneath in the lair of the dragon. While miseducation telling me stories about white knights and shining armor at bedtime, there's no daddy to tell me my true history while standing by my bedside. So tell me, who's going to be my guide? Who's going to loosen this blindfold that's been my guide and show me that this walk in darkness has really been in light all along? Who's going to grab my hand and seat me at my throne and show me that I'm clothed in shining and diamonds from the compressed cold of my black soul, carved out of the ebony stone of my hard times, bred in the blood of my royal bloodlines? Tell me, who's going to tell me about the king that I am so I can show them the princes that they can be, and we can walk together 33 degrees, turn back to back, fight and grind at 180 and meet the light face to face at 360. Tell me, who's going to tell me about the king that I am so I can be their living legacy, so the history of me will produce the future I bring, and they will drown in the greatness I sing until they learn to breathe me and talk in the tongue of kings.
Wait, I didn't know me. Oh my God. That was so awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, come on in the comment section, y'all. Oh my God, Mo. Whoa.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, I never ever been, but always wanted to go. But I tell you, it just took me right there. And I thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm sure, look at the audience. They loving it. They throwing up the fire signs. That was awesome. So tell me, how did this come about? You know, you just began to just, I don't know, how did this come about? How was this birthed?
I think I'm I have to be honest, like part of it, a large part of it is I don't have an explanation for you. Well, I do have an explanation for you. It's just a gift. I somehow, some way, it just comes to me, and it comes to me from at weird times, weird places, and the ability to put words together. I don't know. It just comes to me like that. And then, but I will say this. I definitely do study my craft, right? So I'm always in a dictionary. I'm always in the thesaurus. I'm always watching other poets. I'm always listening to poetry, reading poetry. Like, so I think I'm saying it comes to me naturally, but as I'm speaking it out loud right now, as it's going through my head, as I'm thinking about it. Yes, a lot of it comes naturally, but a lot of it is because I believe in what I do, and I just immerse myself in it. And so where it seems natural to me, or I'm saying it seems, but now that I say it, I think it's just because of I surround myself in it.
That's
Yeah.
good. So I tell you what, if you had someone that was under the sound of your voice and maybe just thinking to start something, or they're into something, they have whatever it is that they may be into, what would be your words of encouragement to them? Because you say you actually master your craft, you actually study these things, and
Mhm.
so like me, I am a person, I'll just go and try and do it till I fail. And then once I
Mhm.
fail, then I go back,
Yeah.
and pick up the pieces. But if you had someone that was under the sound of your voice, that was maybe in the middle of something and maybe thinking, how could I better whatever it is that I'm doing?
Okay, yeah. So to answer to make sure I understand your question, the question is, how do I better
Mhm.
whatever it is that I'm into?
Right.
Yeah. I think that first you have to be honest about yourself of it, your reason. You got to have a purpose, right?
Mhm.
Why do you need to understand, you need to know why you want to do whatever it is that you're doing. And
That's
and the reason why that's important is because if it's for the wrong reasons, it doesn't matter what you do. It's not going to work.
mhm.
So you have to identify and make sure that whatever it is that you want to do is for the right reasons. So you got to answer the question why.
Mm.
And once you can answer the question why, then I think automatically you're going to find yourself in a purpose. Like you're going to know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, without a doubt. Like this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so that means that you have to be willing to put everything into it. And sometimes it's going to get scary, right? Because you're not going to want to give things up that you're comfortable with. It could be, and I'm not saying that you should quit your job and jump into. I'm not saying that, but there are going to be things that your time with other things. You're gonna have to be willing to give those things up. You're gonna have to be willing to dedicate uh, maximum amount of time to it, and not just by just being there, but by bettering yourself, right?
Mhm.
Um, I think that was the biggest lesson for me, and that's what I would definitely share is that you have to want to better yourself. Like you can't be, say if you're a singer, right? And you can know that you're a good singer. People could tell you that you're a good singer, but if you just sit on that and try to move forward with just that, okay, I'm a good singer, and you just try to ride that into the sunset, it's not going to work, because you should say, okay, this is what I like to do, this is what I want to do, but how do I get better, right?
Mm.
And if you're not, you should always be trying to get better. You have to, because that's what it's all about. Like why we're not giving these gifts to be stagnant with them, right? We're
Right.
giving these gifts to take them to the ultimate level that we could take them to. That's it. That's our purpose, right? Whatever we've been gifted with, we're supposed to maximize that here on earth. And the only way you do that is by continuing to get better, continue to research, um, put yourself in the right environment. That's a big one, right? Because you can want to do something, but if you're in the wrong environment,
Mhm.
you'll always get distracted every single time,
Mhm.
right? And I think the last thing I'll say is recognize your weaknesses, right? Understand what you're weak at, and where what you need to work on. Don't be so arrogant that you think you know it all,
Right.
right? You never do. You never will know it all. There's always something better. There's always something more to know. There's always a way for you to grow and progress. So I said a mouthful, but I think that's what I would say.
No, but I mean, and everything that you said is good, because I don't know what's happening with my camera. I mean, this never happened. Did you see that?
Yeah, it blinked twice. I saw it blink twice.
Yeah. I mean, guys, please do bear with us. I'm not sure what's happening, but we're going to get through this interview.
All right.
Yes, you did have some great responses as to the question that was asked. Um, again, too, the most important thing that stood out to me is when you say basically, if you're not basically if you're not passionate about what it is that you're doing, or don't no, let me back up. I hear
Mm-hmm.
the spirit saying, do not misuse the gifts that God has given you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we'll God to give us one gift, and just because we see somebody else doing it, we'll go want to dib and dab into that and say, oh, I can do that. I can
Mm-hmm.
do that too. And then when it don't work, you get all discouraged and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
here it is, God has He's giving you the gift that He wants you to have.
Yeah.
So why are you picking into something else? And then when
Mm-hmm.
it don't work, you get all discouraged. So if you had someone that wanted to get into poetry, do you kind of like teach these classes, or do you have any classes, or do you have any tips you'll like to give them?
Yeah, I haven't dove into the realm of like, having classes or teaching it, because I think I don't know, I guess I'm still on my journey, and
Okay.
so I haven't felt like I've reached a point where I could teach, like formally teach somebody, but I guess I could. Um, but I definitely have tips, and I definitely always, anybody that asks me about it, I definitely always share anything that I have to offer. I'm willing to share it. I think for anybody that's wanting to get into poetry, the biggest thing is just write. You can't
Mm,
you can't write every now and then. You can't write just when you know uh, you feel up to it. You have to write. You have to write even when you don't feel like writing. You have to write, and it just makes you better. It's one of those things. It's I say it's synonymous to playing the sport, right? Playing basketball. I mean, if you want to play basketball, the only way you get good at playing basketball is to play basketball. That's it. There's no other way. And poetry's the same way. Yeah, you might write a good poem one day, right? But if you want to get better, you have to keep writing every. I'm not saying you have to write every day, but you have to write a lot. You got to keep writing. And if you want to perform poetry, you have to perform all the time. And that's one of the things I'm learning now, because I'm starting to get into performing, and I'm realizing it doesn't matter how much I write. Performing is different than writing,
mm,
and you have to perform. You have to get up and stand in that mirror and perform. And you just got to keep doing it. You got
mm.
to be you have to be a little obsessive about it. Um, that would be my recommendation. That's what I've learned through my journey so far, as far as getting if you're really real about poetry.
Okay. So, do you take any bookings, or this is something that you didn't think about yet?
You talking about taking books as far as like teaching people
No, someone
poetry?
want to book you to come and speak because
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just dove into that recently. So I had somebody ask me to do a feature here in Virginia not too long ago. I'm going to be performing with Lyric Ave. Lyric Ave is a production company here in Virginia. They do poetry and comedy. So I'll be doing that. But yeah, absolutely. That's when we talked about how my purpose is changing, and I talked about how this is something that I want to do, and this is what I want to do. Um, that's part of it. Is just this. I'm sorry. I guess these are motion lights. I don't know. I probably got to walk. Come back on. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I definitely take bookings, and this is what I'm here to do. I want to perform. I want to share my gift as much as I possibly can.
Awesome. So, if one want to book you, can you tell us how we can do so?
Yeah, right. I don't have a website. You just reach out to me, just DM message me, give me the time and date. Uh, if it matches up with my schedule, I'm there.
Mm,
I really, the only way I would turn somebody down is if it didn't align with if I had something else to do. Um, but I'm here to, like I said, I'm here to share my gifts. So you just either get IG, probably the best way, but you can reach out on Facebook too. Just DM me, and I'll be more than happy to come out.
Awesome. Let me tell you, I think I'm gonna put something together and get you to come out because I've always wanted to go and listen to, the spoken word or poetry, whatever it is. I
Uh-huh.
love, love, love it. And it was one young lady on Instagram. She's amazing. I think her Kia Speaks, if I'm not mistaken. So who would you say is your biggest inspiration and
Oh
why?
man. So I got a short story about this.
Okay.
So as an artist, I've never attached myself to anybody, or I never had anybody that I was like, at least as far as poetry was concerned, I was like, oh yeah, that's, you
Mhm.
know, I, now I've listened to poets, and I definitely appreciate poets, and I see different things. I'm like, oh, you know, that's how I should move, or maybe I should, that's how you grow, by learning from other people. But there's a guy named Obi West, and he's amazing, and I would say by far he has definitely been, um when seeing him helped
Mhm.
me see a lot of the things that I needed to work on. And I reached out to him, and I told him that I wasn't shy about it at all. I reached out to him and was like, hey man, I'm not trying to be you. I'm trying to walk my own lane,
Mm.
but uh I hope you do mentoring or something like that, because I'm following you. And that's pretty much been, and he's been very responsive. So yeah, his name is Obi West. If you enjoy poetry, you need to go on IG at Obi West and check him out.
Awesome. You think you could share another poem with us? You have a moment?
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see what else. Uh, Hold on. Okay, yeah, I have another one I could do. This is called, I never wrote. Oh, I guess we call it Sleeping Beauty. She's in a deep sleep, laid in a pole position, dreaming of fast cash and fast cars. Pinches don't wake her, only leaving her soul scarred. She didn't went too far. She overpawed, trying to get a hole in one or two shots. Getting tipsy to make that body rock. In the champagne room, she making them corks pop. And they got many ones, so they pockets got two knots, and they both for her. And they love to watch VIP Skybox. She batting balls, Chicago White Sox, and they pitch that game as money. She stuck playing sweet and sexy as honey, 5'6", caramel skin, body right. Thick ass, nice waist, breast tight. And she got them weak as kryptonite, and so they giving up their green to gain the strength to defeat her self-esteem. And she claims to be standing her own 2 feet, like we don't see that pole that she using to lean. She dignifies her actions as a ways and means, not realizing she's the actor, social media producing, and that addiction to dopamine writing the scene. Somebody rewrite the script, because she way past PG-13. Her daughters are watching. She way past PG-13. It's time for the final episode. To her, her ass is her biggest asset, but it's acid. We're watching her soul erode. She's Sleeping Beauty, eyes wide open, can't see the real. She not even a woman no more. She defines herself as sex appeal. She is submitted and become a slave to the bills. And they got those, but no bouquet for her, just a rose signed with a call for the hoe. So shake that ass, mommy. Make that cash, daddy. Buy your spirit back. Baby got it. Hid in the corner of her conscience behind her pride. Paula Patton beauty, Grinch on the inside. She in a deep sleep, laid in a pole position, dreaming a nightmare. But no Prince Charming's coming to wake her. She so Maleficent, lost in the woods somewhere.
And what was that called?
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. Wow. Listen, y'all, I don't know what to tell y'all, but y'all need to go ahead and book this young man right now. Oh my God. I mean, just it flows. I mean, just well, you did say you study it, but how many times do you like practice what it is you're getting ready to present?
Over and over and over and over. Like I it's hard to say. I do a lot. So believe it or not. So let me see. Hold on. I'll see if I can remember something real quick. I have this poem that describes exactly how it goes for me. Hold on. It's your tongue holds the power of a gun. Your courage is a cock back, but it'll be your nerves that'll twitch and squeeze and give them 16 of those hollow tips filled with the power of your gift. And it'll hit them to the core, split and be impactful. And they'll sit in dead silence as you rob them of their ignorance. The only sound they will hear will be the clinking of shells dropping like gems, echoing off the inner walls of their souls, resonating within, you see, because they will never forget how you make them feel when you spit that fire and inspire the slow burning desire for another intoxicating shot of syllables and metaphors. They're binge drinking your words and you're sipping their applause in return, you see. The power of your tongue is not only a gun. You're well-spoken. Your tongue is sharp, the tip of a sword to cut deep into their minds and lacerate the tops off domes and give them food for thought so they could be fruit bowls, fruit for the souls, and be fruit and spread seeds that are growing to be fruit trees, you see. So stop playing footsies with your anxieties and go stand on your truth. So that I say that little piece to say this. I get so anxious before I perform. It doesn't matter where it is. And I think I know that about myself. So I do know that about myself. I know how anxious I get. So I practice a lot, especially if I have a performance. I mean, if I have a performance, I'm probably 3 out, days leading up to it. I'm just reciting it over and over and over. And the crazy thing about that is this. A lot of times I'll be reciting it, and when I perform it, it never sounds how I recited it.
Wow.
It always comes out different, but it comes out different because once I get over that hump and I start, I put myself in a position where I in my mind, I'm just talking to you. And so when I do that, it's literally just flowing. Like I'm barely thinking about the words. It's just coming out. And so that's what I do. I practice a lot, especially right before. But up leading to it every day. Like if I had a show next Saturday, every day I'm reciting those, whatever I'm going to perform, reciting those over and over. Wake up, reciting them. I'll tell you this, I even record them, especially if it's one that's really challenging. Like I do have a lot of wordplay and stuff. I'll record it and I'll be in my car and it'll just be on repeat. And it'll be on repeat. And I'll let it play. We play Simon Says. I play Simon Says by myself. Let it play, cut it off, then I say it. And I let it play and I cut it off. And I just keep doing it. But it's gotten a lot. I would say this, over time, it's gotten a lot easier for me to prepare myself. Like I remember it easier. And it's easier for me to fill in gaps. So like if I mess up, like the last one I just did, I messed up. But I know how to now insert whatever I need to insert to keep the flow going. So even if I stumble, I have another piece that I could put in there to keep it going. And that's just because I just, recite so many things so many times.
Let me tell you, that's definitely a gift. It is definitely a gift. And I'm telling you, doing it, so well. So what we're going to do now, because we are right at the end, but I do not like to leave without going into this, because again, it had to happen is about my journey, my pain, my purpose. And we like to encourage our people on, I maybe went through this, but this is how I overcame it. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things we want our light to shine before the people. So was there ever a time where you had to just say, okay, God, it's nothing else I can do. I just totally have to rely on you?
Yeah. Which time? That's how I would answer. I would say which time. I would say, let me see. Man, I'm trying to think of a more recent time. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I didn't think about this. So, when I was in the military, I was good at it. And when I say I was good at it, I really enjoyed it. I loved being a soldier. I loved standing in front of troops. It didn't matter. Whatever we had to do, I was all for it, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but I knew that I knew that I knew I had a different purpose. I knew that I had a different calling. Like I knew that that wasn't it, regardless, even though I was successful at it. And I knew, I said, I don't know how, I just knew. I said, there's something else. And I remember being very nervous about getting out of the Army because I went straight after high school. That's all I knew. So I was very, 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 very anxious about that. I did. And I remember how it happened. I literally, it literally was a complete 180. Like one day I was, if I could go to special forces, I was ready to go. But I had that in the back of my mind but this isn't it. There's something else. And one day I woke up and I said, I'm done.
Wow.
I just said, I'm done. And there was nothing bad about the Army, but that spirit just fell on me, man. And it was just like, I wasn't worried. I wasn't afraid. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. I just knew, yeah, it's time for me to move on. And that's not the only time it's happened to me, but when it happens to me, that's how it happens. It's always just that spirit fall on you, and you just know. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say, and not in a negative way.
Right.
Still make a plan and all that, but you just know, like, yeah, it's time to move. That was definitely one. I think, and the last one was when I retired from the National Guard. I just retired this year.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. But when I retired, I didn't have a job lined up. But I knew it was time for me to go. And I said, I'm gonna do this poetry and I'm gonna finish, because I was graduating. I was graduating from I just graduated this year too. I just finished my PhD this year. And so when I finished, I hadn't got picked up for a job yet or none of that. And so, but I knew, I said, no, this is gonna work. I'm just gonna get out. This is gonna work. And it's working. So
So that means you know how to hear from God. Like you said, when that spirit falls on you, it's nothing that nobody nobody can, not even you. It's nothing you can do, but just go with it. So after how many years did you retire?
It was 22. It was technically like 23 because the first year I actually signed in 11th grade, but it was 22 years. I did 10 years active duty and about 12 National Guard.
Whoa, almost 23 years.
Yeah.
Again, like I said earlier, thank you. We truly, truly, truly do appreciate it. And congratulations on graduating this year. See, you're shedding so much light, not just with your gift, but look, it's never too late to go back to school, guys.
Oh, yeah.
If you're thinking that you're too old to go back to school, because Mo, I mean, is it okay to call you Mo?
Yeah, that's what everybody calls me. Me.
So I decided to go back to school as well. And I was in school with actually my kids.
Yeah.
And that was the funny thing. Like, they used to be like, that's not your mom, that's your girlfriend. And they be like, no, that's my mom. So I had that fear of going back, but I did it. So listen, guys, you see right here, Mo just got his PhD, guys. Let us see congratulations in the comment sections, because that is major. Everything was lined up just the way that it was supposed to be. In the beginning of the show, you did say, you didn't know how it's basically you didn't know how it's going to turn out, but some good came out of it. Basically, oh my God, I'm just so I don't know. I'm just so happy for you, because that is so awesome. So how old is your daughter now?
My daughter is 21.
Okay, 21. Y'all don't look like he had no kid, no 21.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm gonna tell you guys something else. I did not know Mo was wearing my color today. Okay,
yeah, it's coincidence. It's the synergy.
Yeah, right.
The synergy.
Because I'm telling you, I totally was going with something different.
Yo, so if I could, I picked up a black shirt, and I was like, I wear black all the time. Let me wear the blue one, and that's literally what I did this morning.
Oh my God. Listen, I just got home maybe an hour or so before the show, and I just put in the closet. I actually grabbed brown. And I no. And then I pulled out this blue. And when I got on the show, I was like, oh my God. It's the same color. So that is so awesome. Well, my mom Norma says congratulations. She's
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Bianca says congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and put a couple of comments on the screen. And as the comments come up, Mo, can you just go ahead and shout out the audience?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see the comments yet, but I don't need to see the comments. You know, I just appreciate. First of all, I appreciate you for having me here, and then for all the audience, I appreciate the congratulations. I appreciate. I saw some of the fire emojis pop up. I definitely appreciate that. I will say this. You know, I'm always humbled by what people have to say, by feedback. I'm always humbled by it, but I never let it go to my head. But it's definitely appreciated because I tell you, whatever you do. I was about to say any artist to tell you, but whatever you do, it's really tough when you put your everything and everything into it, and you don't get feedback, because now you always have to feed yourself. But we're all human, and I could tell you some days it gets rough. When you put yourself into everything, and crickets, nobody responds, or nobody gives you any feedback. So when I get that feedback, I'm definitely humbled by it. Like I don't take that for granted. So I definitely appreciate that.
Mo, that's awesome that you say that, because I found myself there maybe about a month or so ago, and you give it your all and you don't give that feedback, and you're just offering so many different things. And even as far as when I invite the guests on the show, and can you promote it, things like that plays not that I'm looking, I mean, numbers don't mean anything to me. Long as we can touch one, Mo, we've done enough. But like you say, you're always humbled by it. Definitely.
Yeah.
You're always humbled by it. And once you go to get in a big head, it'll show.
Yes.
It'll definitely show. Trust and believe it'll show. But this is a business that God has loaned me. I'm just a visionary. This is his business. So I thank you for even accepting the invitation to come here today with us. And do know that this is an open door. You can come back at any time you feel the need to.
Definitely appreciate it.
You're most welcome. And trust me, I really appreciate not only that you're serving, but you took time out your busy schedule to come sit with us on tonight and share your awesome gift. And again, like I said, you shed so much light on tonight. I don't know if it touched one or two, but I know that it definitely touched somebody. And that's what matters. So before we go, can you just take us on out with another, do a poem to me. How about that?
Okay. Let me see. A poem to you. Oh man.
Did I put you on the spot?
Yeah, that was poem guard. Hold on. Let me see. A poem to you. Let me see. Let me see if I got something I can read you real quick.
Okay.
Let's see here. Poem to you. Oh man, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep. Okay, I'll read this. So no, well, okay. I'm gonna read this, right? But I'm not. I don't want to.
Well,
it's called. I'm just read it. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. All right. It's called Soulmate. But I'm gonna read it. I'm not saying that we're soulmates, but I just want to. This is the first thing that popped up, so I'm gonna read this.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Your soulmate is your personal photographer, a visionary, a godsend, sent to see that you see you. Not. Hold on, let me start over. Your soulmate is your personal photographer, a visionary, a godsend, sent to see that you see you. And they're not fooled by the flash. That is, they're not blinded by the light in you. Their optics equipped with an infrared that can see through the dark in you. They don't see you in the same light as everyone else. They're on a different spectrum, third eye, a telescopic lens, seeing you on a deeper level than you can even see yourself. Identifying where your light dims, they're not a distraction, they're a diffraction, causing your light to bend, changing the latent image of you by exposing you to you, developing your negatives so you could be perfectly visible to you.
Wow. Guys, we're here live today with your girl, Erica Wilson, that it had to happen for Thursday night spotlight. He got me tongue-tied here. And tonight our topic was poetry, passion, and purpose. And we have the Maurice Moeflowz Brown with us on tonight. Guys, if this broadcast has blessed you, please do go ahead and share it. Not only that, go ahead and follow Mo on all his social media platforms. Show him some love. And if you would like to book, how can we book again really quick?
Just DM me on my Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, and I'll be more than happy to come out anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mo, for again. I keep saying thank you, but I love for you to come back.
Absolutely.
Again, whenever you have the time to, we'll love to have you. And then if I have something going on, I would definitely reach out to you and we could get you on here in Atlanta and do some things here.
Absolutely. I'll be more than happy to.
Awesome, because this is a talent that needs to go far. It comes so easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even by you reading off a piece of paper, you understand?
Yeah.
Look how it just flowed.
Yeah.
It just flows. So it's natural. It's your gift. It's your purpose. Keep walking in it, King. Keep walking.
And I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. Guys, we love. Don't leave yet. We love you here at It Had to Happen. Mo, we like to send our guests some virtual hugs.
Okay, we could do that. Yeah, there we go.
And some virtual love. Because guys, we here at It Had to Happen. God bless each and every one of you. Please do be careful. Also, on Monday nights, I have my NFL Mom Show with the Sandra Perryman and the beautiful Melissa Berry. On Tuesdays, guys, we have our prayer broadcast, an hour of power at 5:30. Please do meet us back here, God's willing. Until next time, be safe. God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Erica's empowering empire. 88 blessings soar movement. It had to happen in a beauty so rare. We'd love for you to join us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It Had to Happen with Erica Wilson. Following our social media.